afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, a big-time oil price hike looms next week. The cost of diesel seen to rise by nearly 5 pesos per liter. Immigration Board of Special Inquiry Chief Gilberto Repizo pushing back after Justice Secretary Boying Remulla orders his removal. A major setback for SpaceX of billionaire Elon Musk as one of its Starships explodes during testing. The Indiana Pacers rout the Oklahoma City Thunder to force a decisive Game 7 in the NBA Finals. And is there a new hot couple in town? Beauty queen Chelsea Manalo and model athlete Cole Micek spark dating rumors. We begin with bad news for motorists. Better gas up now as oil prices are expected to rise big time next week. Based on 4 days of trading, the cost of diesel could jump by nearly 5 pesos per liter. Gasoline by up to 3 pesos per liter and kerosene by as much as 4.40. Crude oil trading has been volatile in recent days amid escalating tensions between Israel and Iran. President Bongbong Marcos has said the government is ready to extend fuel subsidies to sectors severely affected by potential supply disruptions in the Middle East. Motorists aren't the only ones facing higher prices as officials discover an alleged extortion scheme that overcharges taxi passengers at the NAIA. As Paulo Barcelon tells us, airport police officers are said to be involved.
Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon sacked 5 airport police officers of the Manila International Airport Authority after a taxi driver revealed they were the ones benefiting from overcharging passengers hailing special cabs at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The driver was apprehended for overcharging rates from NAIA Terminal 2 to Terminal 3. He said 40% of his earnings went to the 5 officers.
Na-relieve yung 5 binigay na pangalan, ginawa na yung kagabi. Renilieve na sila, dinisarmahan na sila kahapon, kagabi, at suspended sila habang ongoing yung ating fact-finding dito.
Dizon also says fake taxi fare matrices were also found used by drivers, with exorbitant fares reaching as high as 7,000 pesos for a trip to Pampanga. With this, officials are eyeing to remove special taxis from the airport and make regular taxis with meter-based fares the norm at the airport.
Kailangan kung ano yung ginagawa ng ibang bansa na regular taxi, kapareho ang fare, meron lang maayos na sistema sa airport, pumipila ang mga taxi doon, may maayos na pila ang mga kababayan natin, metro na tayo.
The agency is also urging other drivers who were abused by the airport police officers to come forward, while coordinating with the LTFRB, the new NAIA Infrastructure Corporation, and the MIAA on making sure only legitimate meter-based cabs and ride-hailing vehicles will be allowed to ferry passengers. Paulo Barcelon, Billionaire News Channel.
President Bongbong Marcos expressed support for the no-contact apprehension policy in Metro Manila. In his latest podcast, the president said the policy aims to ensure that rules of the road are being followed. Contrary to views of critics, Marcos also insists that this will lessen acts of corruption and extortion. The NCAP uses CCTV and other gadgets to capture vehicles violating traffic laws. Its implementation was resumed late last month after the Supreme Court partially lifted the temporary restraining order against the policy. On to tensions within the Immigration Bureau as Justice Secretary Boying Remulla relieves Board of Special Inquiry Chief Gilberto Repizo from his post. This comes after Repizo publicly accused Immigration Chief Joel Anthony Viado of misconduct, including delays in deportation cases, favoring well-connected individuals, and other acts of corruption. But Repizo contests his removal. In a letter to Remulla, he said he will bring the matter to the Civil Service Commission, citing his right to due process. Repizo will be replaced by Attorney Ruben Casibang Jr. Attorney Casibang served as the officer in charge of the BSI during the tenure of former Immigration Commissioner Norman Tancinco. An escalating family feud as presidential sister Senator Amy Marcos makes a scathing criticism of her cousin, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, over the San Juanico Bridge. But the lower chamber is firing back. Hannity reports.
The House of Representatives is not staying silent, not after Senator Amy Marcos blamed them for the poor state of the San Juanico Bridge. Senator Amy even said she should have been the president. She slammed her cousin, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and the Department of Public Works and Highways over the bridge's condition. Access to the bridge is currently limited after experts said parts of the structure may no longer be stable. Vehicles weighing more than 3 tons are temporarily prohibited from crossing the 2-kilometer bridge. President Bongbong Marcos earlier issued a proclamation to expedite necessary measures to repair and rehabilitate the bridge fully. The presidential sister reveals only $451 million was spent on rehabilitation from 2018 to 2025, despite the $4.7 billion in funds under the Maharlika Highway Program. House spokesperson Princess Abante fired back, saying the Senate had equal power to fix budget gaps during bicameral talks. She called out Marcos for criticizing the budget instead of pushing for amendments when it mattered. The San Juanico Bridge rehabilitation started in 2018, with works covering cosmetic repainting, structural upgrades, and LED lighting. The project was divided into phases and received allocations through the DPWH infra program. Still, safety issues have emerged. Marcos called the 52-year-old bridge a symbol of her father's legacy, which is now being neglected. And in a direct swipe, she called out House Speaker Martin Romualdez, who represents Leyte, where the bridge stands. Abante says this is not a matter of pointing fingers, but of shared responsibility. As the word war escalates, the bridge remains partially inaccessible, stuck between politics and public safety. Hannity, Billionaire News Channel.
U.S. President Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran, but has not made a final decision on whether to use them. That's according to a report from CBS, which says Trump held off from strikes in case Iran agreed to abandon its nuclear program. The White House has not confirmed this, but says Trump's decision on U.S. action in the war between Iran and Israel would come within 2 weeks.
The president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add.
Trump has so far kept the world guessing on possible U.S. involvement in the war. But he has made it clear Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Australia closes its embassy into Iran due to what it says is the deteriorating security environment in Iran. It has also asked all Australian citizens and officials, except the ambassador, to leave the country. The war between Iran and Israel has entered its 8th day with no end in sight yet. A major setback for SpaceX of billionaire Elon Musk. SpaceX Starship 36 exploded during testing just before launch in Brownsville, Texas. SpaceX says the rocket was preparing for its 10th flight test when it experienced what it calls a major anomaly. It adds there were no hazards to residents in surrounding communities. We're taking a quick break. Still ahead, the Indiana Pacers force a decisive Game 7 in the NBA Finals. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns. Good news for student commuters. The discount on train rides in the metro has been raised to 50%. But even as the government pushes for more affordable rides, transport officials are under pressure to fix the system's frequent breakdowns. Paolo Barcelon reports.
For students like NAIA and ZIF, the LRT is a necessity, especially as they go to Quezon City and Manila for the daily commute.
Malaki pong bagay yun kasi po, as a student na malayo po yung pinapasukan. Parang malaking bagay po yun kasi pwede po ako makaipon.
Mas malaking tulong lalo na sa aming nasa malalayo pa, yung dalawang biyahe pa.
Transport Secretary Vince Dizon has announced that ticket prices for students taking Metro Manila's trains will be slashed to half. All students need to do is present a valid ID card, enrollment certificate, or certificate of registration at the ticket booth.
Technically, hindi pa kaya nung beep card na i-program sa ngayon. No? Pero pinipigit natin na siguro in the next few months, magagawa ng paraan ng beep card. Pero sa ngayon, single journey ticket muna.
The LRT2 carries around 80,000 students daily, which represents 40% of its total daily ridership. Rides from Antipolo up to Recto normally cost 35 pesos. But due to the discounts implemented by the DOTR, the normally 35 peso ride will now become 18 pesos. The DOTR says cheaper fares are just part of solving commuter woes, especially as the MRT3 and the LRT1 suffered from breakdowns this week. The LRT1 suffering a 10-hour breakdown on Wednesday. Senator Grace Poe called on the agency to ensure the safety of train operations, something the Transport Department plans to do soon, especially with aging catenary wires on older systems, such as the Baclaran to Monumento section of the LRT1.
Mag-iisip na tayo ng mga upgrade. Pero syempre, i-estimate natin yung gastos niyan. No? Hindi biro yan, no? na palitan. No? Kunyari, hindi birong magpalit ng catenary wire system, gawin nating third grade, hindi biro yan.
Dizon also confirms that they will ask for 2.5 billion pesos to begin the construction of a new station to the LRT1 Cavite extension. Once completed, Dizon says operations and maintenance will be transferred to the Light Rail Manila Corporation.
Sisimulan na natin ang construction ng Tagaba Station next year. So, importante yan at na-inform na rin natin ang LRMC na nagpapatakbo ng Line 1 na magtatayo tayo ng bagong stasyon.
Dizon also says the Dalian trains in the MRT3 are being thoroughly checked by the line's maintenance provider, Sumitomo Corporation. And once its checklist is done, 8 to 10 units of the controversial train sets will finally be utilized by the riding public after years of delays due to alleged safety concerns. Paulo Barcelon, Billionaire News Channel.
Shifting now to sports in the NBA as the Indiana Pacers totally own the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 6 of the finals. The Pacers outdid OKC in every metric on the way to the 108-91 beating. Indiana fired 15 three-pointers on a 36% clip, lorded over the boards and had more assists and steals while turning over possession only 9 times versus OKC's 21. Obi Toppin's top scored with 20 points while Pascal Siakam electrified the crowd with loaded shots inside and out. Siakam logged a double-double, 16 points and 13 rebounds. The series is now tied at 3-3 with both teams needing to win Game 7 at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma on Monday, Philippine time. A stunner in Germany as French Open champ Coco Gauff suffers an early exit at the Berlin Open. Gauff was eliminated by Chinese qualifier Wang Xinyu. The American struggled to adapt to the slick grass court surface just weeks after her triumph on clay in Paris. Her next Grand Slam stop, Wimbledon, begins on June 30. Meanwhile, at the Halle Open, also in Germany, world number 1 Yannick Sinner is eliminated in the second round by Kazakhstan's Alexander Bublik. The defending champ entered with a 4-1 record versus 45th ranked Bublik, but now trails 0-2 on grass. It is Sinner's first defeat to a non-top opponent or top 20 opponent since August 2023. The upset comes just a week and a half before Wimbledon. We're taking another breather, still to come. Actor Zian Lim, now a licensed commercial pilot. The latest in entertainment, up next. You're still watching Newsfeed at noon. Filipino Superman fans live out their dreams as the stars and crew of the upcoming DC film visit Manila for a red carpet event. Erica Christensen Lee gives us the highlights.
Superman is flying across the globe and his first stop, Manila. Fans packed the SM Mall of Asia Music Hall Thursday as the cast and creators of DC Studios' upcoming film Superman kicked off their global tour here in the Philippines. Leading the team were director James Gunn and producer Peter Safran, joined by stars David Corenswet as the new Clark Kent and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Gunn described the film as more than just a superhero movie. It's about hope, humanity, and what it means to be a hero.
I'm really excited. I believe that this is the first love letter of a Superman film to comic book fans. This is the closest thing we'll get to a comic-accurate movie.
Set to premiere on July 9, Superman marks a bold new chapter for DC. And for Filipino fans, being the tour's first stop is a proud moment. Erica Christensen Lee, Billionaire News Channel.
Amazon Prime Video is dropping a new crime thriller series. The cast and crew of Countdown walked the gray carpet in Hollywood for its world premiere. Entirely filmed in Los Angeles, the show follows a task force trying to stop a terrorist attack. Countdown will be released on the streaming platform on June 25th.
Yeah, I grew up in going to the movies in the 80s when you'd go to the mall and every Saturday was a new action movie like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Eraser, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I love the vibe and the energy of those old action movies. And that's what I was going for with this show. So.
From showbiz to the skies, actor Zian Lim is now a licensed commercial pilot. In a lengthy Instagram post, Zian called his aviation journey truly life-changing. He expressed his gratitude to his instructors and flymates from local aviation school Top Flight Academy. Zian tells his followers, in chasing a dream, nothing is impossible if you have the heart, the passion, and the right people around. He adds this is only the beginning and he will keep flying. Now, is there a new hot couple in town? Miss Universe Philippines 2024 Chelsea Manalo and film model athlete Cole Micek are sparking dating rumors. That's after they were frequently seen together and were even spotted holding hands. Netizens couldn't help but ship, saying the two actually look good together. Both Chelsea and Cole have yet to comment on the speculations, but this morning, Cole posted a series of photos of them as cover of a magazine. And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay with the Billionaire News Channel. Good afternoon and happy weekend.